is Joy News Prime.
And it's the last day of the 9th month in the year 2016. Welcome to Joy News Prime. And coming up in the headlines, 17 presidential aspirants filed nominations with the Electoral Commission to contest the presidential slot of the country. But the EC says it will release the list of those who made it next week. Meanwhile, the running mate of the Convention People's Party says the Nkrumah's party will roll out an apprenticeship scheme across the country to reduce unemployment when it is voted into power. Chief Executive of the Mental Health Authority warns of a ticking time bomb should this situation at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital persist following suspension of some essential services.
And ahead in business, President Mahama instructs shipping companies to halt the implementation of the new terminal handling charges, saying it has no legal backing as single window system marks a year of its introduction.
We'll also bring you more on the ballot box currently ongoing in the Upper East region. Bring you sports, entertainment, and Joy News Interactive later on in the bulletin. We'll give you details of those stories that we headline, but right now let's go back to Busa South constituency to hear the concerns of the constituents as the Joy ballot box continues.
Okay. If there is no valid, if there is no valley, I don't see how you can create a dam that will have canals and then it will go on in the dry season.
Okay, you know what I want to do? I want to briefly wrap up for me. I want to hear from get the response from Mr. Alonsi. I want to wrap up for me, please. Wrap up for me, please.
Okay. Yeah. So talking about the irrigation dams, that is why, like my brother already said, there's an irrigation dam that is going on at URC. It's ongoing. So I know that when that one comes out, the youth will get jobs to do there. They will have opportunity to grow vegetables and fruits around that area.
Okay.
And many more are on the way to come. Thank you.
Mr. Alonso, please respond to that for me on the one dam, one village.
Yes.
Promise.
I am happy she said she doesn't understand the concept. And so, yes. And you could see the difficulty in trying to explain what the concept is all about. When we spoke about national health insurance, they said it was not possible. So again, we are not surprised as a party. We said free education, again, they said it was not possible. Now they are modifying it, realizing that it is something that caught up with the electorate. And they are trying to implement it without any success. Now, when Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo talks about one village, one dam, he's talking about irrigable dams. Irrigable dams that will make it possible for people to stay in here and find a living or eke out a living for themselves. That is what he's talking about.
But they are already,
that is what he's talking about.
But they are already dams.
And
Mr. Alonsi, and already dams. Driving on the road, I saw a lot of water collection.
What you saw are mostly dugouts. They are not irrigable dams.
So we are not talking about dugout. You are talking about proper irrigable
dams to serve
dams for
as a source for farming activities in the dry
But what's
season.
the difference, really? Because you can still use that to irrigate your farm.
No, the dugouts, it means you would have to fetch the water and carry it to wherever you want to farm. But with the irrigable dams, canals will be provided to ensure that water is ferried from wherever it is stored onto the farmlands for farming activities. So we are not worried that for those of them who are comfortable in various positions, find it difficult to understand what one village, one dam means.
One small follow-up question. In your constituency, how many villages are there?
We have in all, we have 5 towns with a number of suburbs under them.
How many villages?
The villages, I cannot put a finger on them immediately.
So you don't know the number of villages, but you're saying you do one in one village?
Wait, what I'm saying is that there are major towns with suburbs. Now, they share boundaries with each other. So when you say that you are providing one village, one dam, for instance, if you went into a place like Faransa Faransa already is a neighboring community to Bandama. All you need to do is perhaps to extend the dam that is there, and it will serve the purposes of those two communities. So it doesn't, where you find that two villages could use one facility, I don't see the need in constructing a dam in every single village.
So you're disputing your...
Listen.
No, hold on.
Yes.
Hold on, Mr. Alonso.
No, listen.
Mr. Alonso. You don't see... Hold on. Just a second.
When it comes to implementation...
You don't see the need to have one dam in every village. But your candidate said one dam, one village.
If you listen to the explanation, if you pick villages that are cluster of villages, do you think that economically it will make sense that each of them, you provide dams in each of them? This is the broad policy outline. When it comes into implementation, it only makes sense that modifications are done to suit the conditions on the ground. That is it. And that is a practicable way to go about the situation. So yes, the broad proposal is that for all villages that are in need of dams, dams will be provided. But where cluster of villages could benefit from a particular dam, I think that it makes economic sense to ensure that they are put together and that dam serves the interests of those communities.
Thank you very much. Dr. Park. Dr. Park. And this is brief because this is just a prayer for rebuttal, so very briefly.
Very well, Evans. I think it is only fair and appropriate that I get to respond. You could see that my brother was struggling very hard to justify the pronouncement made by his flag bearer. Quite clearly, the MPP is so confused to the extent that they don't understand what a dam is. As Madam rightly stated, you cannot have a dam without a river that feeds into that dam. And yet he sat here to say, contradicting what his flag bearer had said, that even when they find a cluster of villages, they can provide them with a dam. Then why are you not saying cluster of villages, one dam, and you are saying one village, one dam? So you see, if you are going to make a policy proposal, you must think through that policy proposal. Indeed, you are fully aware that Nana Akufo-Addo's spokesperson, Mustafa Ahmed, when he was questioned the day after Akufo-Addo made that statement, he said, oh, the reason why Akufo-Addo said one dam, one village was because those of us in the north, we don't understand the difference between a borehole, a dugout, and a dam. He said it. It is on record. So yes, do not be deceived. Do not be deceived and hoodwinked by people who do not understand our conditions, who merely are desperate for power and are prepared to make proposals that they know are not tenable.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Son, your final words on this. Wrap up for me on Mr. Zon. No, Mr. Zon. I haven't heard Mr. Zon on this rebuttal. Rebuttal on this jobs matter.
Well,
very quickly.
let me be honest. I don't really have a rebuttal, but I only want to tell you that in terms of job creation, there are certain things that I've initiated on my own. I've provided some tools to mechanics to be able to train our teaming youth and unemployed to also become experts and masters on their own. That's number one. Then the other aspect is the URC dam, which I personally lobbied. At the end of the day, is going to see thousands and thousands of people from Busa South being engaged on a daily basis to make sure that they have a livelihood that is more dignifying. That is my proposal. And for the issue of rebuttals, I don't want to go to that, but that's my personal position.
Thank you. Mr. Gaiba, briefly to you. You have 1 minute or so to just quickly.
Thank you very much. On the issue of one village, one dam. In fact, I'll forgive any day a southerner who is so unfamiliar with the northern environment for disputing the one village, one dam policy of Nanado. But I'll find it very difficult to do same for a northerner who is so familiar with the terrain and is well equipped with the details of our landscape here.
And the point is?
To argue that the one village, one dam policy isn't feasible. We all know that we need it. And Honorable, in his open submissions, indicated that he is constructing a dam in US. He didn't say a dugout. It's a dam. And this season, you would find out that most of our people, after harvesting their corn and millet, will be sowing beans. If we had a land that is irrigable, our people will use it to farm during the dry season, especially the beans, which they do now. And so it is very sad when somebody is saying that the one village, one dam policy. But I'm not surprised. It is in the nature of NDC to dispute any good policy MPP intends bringing out.
Okay.
And so if they're saying it, I'm not surprised. When Nanado comes into power 2017 January, I am telling you, Evans, the one village, one dam policy will take off, and you will see the jobs that will create for the teeming youth in this country.
Okay.
Thank
Now, I want to do something very quickly. If, hold on, if you are here and you are unemployed, show by hand.
Forward and Boda, Advocate Tuma, Fazalf in the singer, forward and Kakatuma.
You are all unemployed. You are unemployed. You're unemployed. Are you unemployed? You're okay. If you are here and you are unemployed, show by hand. Unemployed. Unemployed.
Forward and Kakatuma, Avifazanisa, Frankakatuni, Atomo.
Okay. Okay. Stand up. Stand up. Come. Come. Are you unemployed? Come. No, I want to hear the lady. I want to hear the woman. Forgive me. I want to hear the woman. Okay. So, tell me about your personal circumstance. What is it?
Masalum, Balibis, Bisimina Lamuam Kanayega. Balamas job, Aletuma Gila. Masal Panyatuinga Mina, Alajantaba, Nurbisaka Tumala. Tumga to government, my jam at the Kanyat Vanam, no Kunupo at Vachap, Aliba, Alababa Yatumatla. Falanyata Busa South, 10 minutes of vodka scat and blast. Jabulisa at Tuma Kanjalala. What do at my Bawamina Bunyi at a Bagila Danila? Wamina Abiskama Awo Koye. Epi Pedama Wunana Donko. And is Dama we, Joe Mama. P.S. Damaka Kwawi. Muba Wegama Balisa to our border at the Uva about your job. 10 people minute about busy and you was a more do at our womb to a minute about them. La Wallinta water tima. Magam Bonua, while we went to Atom, that you know, but Maveling young upon what to be a school fee. For like a banya of a big at our patronu Koyapa. Yes, as I can SSC. One banya of a big at your primary school at Chakakula. Muba Wegamakata Parma Alabaganya to Pusanga at Bakakula.
So what's your issue?
My issue is about the unemployment. What I have to say that any government that will come into power, they should try and give us jobs here. Because whenever we complete SHS, for instance, because of lack of job opportunities in our constituency, we have to travel down south to search for greener pastures. So any government that is coming into power, we are praying that they should try and get us jobs here so that we can also stay back in our constituency.
Have you finished school yourself?
No, I'm still in the tertiary institution.
What are you studying?
I'm studying diploma in basic education.
You're afraid that you finish and you get a job to do?
Yeah, I haven't finished yet.
Is that a fear that you have?
Yeah, that's the feeling I'm having for now. I have that because there are many graduates out there that have completed long ago, but there's no job for them to. So I also have the feeling that when I also complete, I'll face the same challenge.
Let me ask you, you've heard your candidates already talk about what they're going to do to fix the jobs. Are you satisfied that they have the plan to give you a good job once you graduate? Are you satisfied with what you heard from your candidates?
Yeah, I'm satisfied with what I've heard from my candidate. And I hope when giving him the opportunity, he will fulfill his promise.
All of them, all of them.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You know what? We're going to move to some other keys. I'll come back to all of you very shortly. Thank you. So that's just some feedback. to our candidates on their promises to fix the unemployment problem. I will cross over now to my colleague in the studio, Araba Kumsing, and then she'll do the headlines, turn and continue. But we're going to continue from Busa South for the next 10 minutes or so on the very important subject of education. On education, let's go quickly to some of the issues that we find in the box on education.
So on education, this one says, many factors will influence my vote in this year's election. And he starts, 1, NDC scrapped the teacher trainee allowance, and that made me suffer through my college education. 2, as a newly trained teacher, I don't know my fate, whether I'm truly posted or being deluded. The suffering and hardship is too much. No jobs for us. Even if you are working, no salary for you. Then he goes on to say, I hate lies. 10 training colleges, 200 HHSs. Where are they? I won't waste my vote again.
Okay, one more on education. One more on education.
This one says, the government has actually put up structures for schools, but failed to pay many teachers for more than 4 months in this district. I will therefore not vote for someone who doesn't care for my needs. There is already malpractice in the Controller and Accountant General Office concerning people's payments and salaries.
Okay.
That department should therefore be decentralized to the various regions to solve that problem.
One more, give me one more.
Education is a problem. We have built structures, but because of poverty, he says we have brilliant students, but because of poverty, they have dropped out. We need scholarships.
In other words, cost is becoming a deterrent. I want to hear quickly on education. You have something to say on education? And education? No, we've moved on. We'll come back to that. Let me hear from the candidates then on education. Dr. Park, I'll start from you. This is a final round. There's a final round on education. And so I can see some hands there, but I want to hear from the candidates. Dr. Park, on education. Key to the people here. Cost is a deterrent. It's prohibitive. Infrastructure, they want training institutions, with equipment with technical skills, and others. What's the plan?
Very well, Evans. As I like to say, anytime I interact with the people of Busa South, and Kanda school when don beating Yinkabe as a thing on Yawa, a genuine Jamara Tomatoa. And Kanda school when you met in Bodon and Alusita. So I take education very seriously. What I simply said is that if you look at my own background, my village is known as Doninga. One of our main economic activity is honey harvesting. And if not because of education, I certainly will not be sitting here seeking your mandate. But be as it may, it is indeed the case that there are many young people here, others yet to be born, who can rise and even surpass where I have reached, if given the right opportunities. First of all, some of the questions that came up had to do with the need to provide tertiary institutions in Busa. Evans, you must recognize that the Busa traditional area is one of the oldest traditional areas in this country called Ghana. And yet today, we cannot speak about a post-secondary institution in Busa land. Our younger brothers and sisters, after they finish the senior high school or JSS, have to go outside of Buluk to gain the needed skills that we all know they need to be able to become employed. These are issues that we have raised. Thankfully, His Excellency the President has agreed. Indeed, quite recently when he came on the Accounting to the People tour, he indicated in front of our eminent chiefs in Sandema that he is going to work towards ensuring that a campus of UDS is established in Buluk.
We're taking a short break. We'll be right back with details of those stories that we headlined. Chief Executive of the Mental Health Authority, Dr. Akwesiose, is warning of a time bomb should the situation at the country's premier mental health facility, Accra Psychiatric Hospital, persist. According to him, failure to address the long-standing problem of funding will lead to dire security consequences. His comments come in the wake of suspension of CPD and emergency services at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital. In an exclusive interview with Joy News, Dr. Akwesiose expressed disappointment at the state of mental health in the country.
I'm happy once again, I refer to the point to me that we know the importance. We seem not to be appreciated. This is a security issue.
Yes.
If they close down as they did, and we cannot admit patients, on the average, they admit about 10 patients on the average, 10 to 15 patients a day. And they see about 300 patients on outpatient basis. So those they see, not all they admit. Some they will be able to manage and let them go home. But those aggressive ones who they admit, supposing they are not able to attend to them, so they can't admit them, or even on outpatient basis, 300 people, they can't see them and they go, some become aggressive, they are a danger to themselves, a danger to the society. This is a security issue. And I think this should be recognized as such. We are sitting on a time bomb if you don't resolve this issue.
He is also of the conviction that until full implementation of the Mental Act, which was passed in 2012, takes effect, the country will continue to experience disruptions in mental health care delivery.
Accra Psychiatric Hospital has been the news every now and then. Just as we say that children are a barometer of what happens at home, Accra Psychiatric Hospital is a barometer of our mental health care situation in the country. So if they're agitating, it's a reflection of the fact that you've not given adequate care to mental health. Accra Psychiatric Hospital is a parent facility, is a mother facility in mental health care, the oldest in terms of workload, the biggest. So it just represents the extent to which we are giving proper care to mental health care. So anytime you hear a problem, what I'm saying is that it should tell us that we are not giving proper care. And by the way, I've said that all these issues of mental health problems will be there until we begin to implement the law. So until we get to the point of implementing the law fully, and what do I mean by implementation? You discuss getting the airline done, getting the structures, giving money to the mental health board to run the authority. Until then, these problems will exist. And it's precisely because of the existence of these problems that the law was passed anyway. So having passed the law, that's the Parent Law Act 846, that the next thing is effectuated, implemented. Once you do that, then all these problems will be solved. Until then, I expect that now we find some ad hoc solution to that tomorrow to be there, because we've really, they say if you want to solve a problem is like a tree. You uproot it. Don't just cut it. Now all that we are doing is ad hoc. We are cutting it at the level of the stem and the branches and the leaves. The problems will be there. But the final solution is when we fully hold the bull by the horn and implement the Act 846.
Let's stay on the issue of health, because for months now, many newborns in Ghana have not had their records properly documented. This is due to the shortage of child health record booklets in the country. Public health providers have had to improvise by documenting the records either on papers or on immunization cards. Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Ebenezer Piat-Dinchra, acknowledges this situation is not the best, but says the booklets will not be available until next year. It is close some private firms have been invited to assist with the printing.
Well, we had a lot of child welfare books, but then they were banned during the infant or the term. So the government has bought some to replace. Health partners have supported. But we still need more. You know, we need about 1 million every year for children to grow. We're going to another million to the registers. So this is something that is needed. So we are getting the private sector to support this.
So when are we going to see a distribution of it in the hospitals?
DICA has promised, one donor has promised that they will print everything next year. Because we are revising the booklet by putting the pregnant women's data and then the child data together.
Now, for all members of the public who have been riding free in the quality bus transit system all week, the fanfare is over. The climax was a free ride for basic school pupils in parts of Accra Friday afternoon. The week-long pilot program was to, test the system in readiness for its full implementation in mid-October this year.
The bus rapid transit system on Monday began a pilot test of operations in some parts of Accra, offering free rides to commuters. The route that was piloted was the Amasaman-Achimota of Ankotudu stretch. The system was introduced by government to help ease transportation challenges in the cities. All week, some members of the public benefited from the free ride to familiarize themselves with modern installations on board the buses. On the last day of the pilot program, however, the bus rapid transit, now called Quality Bus Transit System, offered pupils of the Ofanko St. Peter's Anglican and Amasaman Basic Schools free ride along the Amasaman-Achimota Ofanko to the stretch. Numbering over 100, the pupils were taken through, among other things, the functions of the bus installations. Some of the pupils shared their experiences and expectations of the new system.
My experience is that we have learned so many things in the bus. We have learned that the bus has, the meaning of BRS is bus wrapping system, and I've enjoyed what the madam was telling us. I expect that we should all take this bus because it has so many experiences inside, and I'll make sure that I inform my parents so that they can take this bus because I have enjoyed what they have told me.
I expect all my mothers and my brothers to join us to take this bus.
I've experienced that you must have a card before you board the bus. And also have experienced that when you eat in the bus, you have to put the rubbish in the waste basket. You don't have to litter the bus. I want my other friends, my other colleagues to board the bus so that there will be no traffic.
The drivers are very intelligent, they are well trained, and they don't drive restlessly. They are very careful when they are driving.
For the teachers, the system may help address the issue of lateness to school. Joy News sources close to the Greater Accra private transport executives say a review of the week-long pilot is underway, with technicians, drivers and engineers presenting their reports on the test activities in order to inform further adjustments to enhance the system.
Up next is business. We'll bring you details after this break. Time for business, and Emmanuel Abuaji-Riafe joins us in the studio now. Emmanuel, hi.
Hi.
Aren't you so happy that it's the end of the week?
I am. I can't wait. Actually,
I can imagine. Well, what are the stories making the headlines
well, there are
in
a lot
business?
of them, but on the top story is that the president has directed once again for the halt of the implementation of the new handling charges at the ports. You know, businesses have kicked against the implementation of this charge, and the transport minister called for a halt for it. It was flouted, and now the president has stepped in again.
Okay, let's hope this time it will be implemented.
Well, let's hope so.
All right, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, Araba, and thanks for joining me on business. President Mahama has instructed shipping companies to halt the implementation of the terminal handling charges, saying it has no legal backing and cannot be imposed on Ghanaian shippers. Key business associations have insisted some shipping lines were still charging the illegal fees, even though the transport minister had earlier called for its halt. President Mahama again gave a strong signal to the shipping lines during a ceremony to mark the first anniversary of the National Single Window Project. Here's Eben Sabuti's report.
President Mahama reiterated the instruction after the Transport Minister Fifi Kwete's earlier directive for a halt in the charging of the illegal fees to have fallen on deaf ears. The President was speaking at a ceremony to mark the first anniversary of the Ghana National Single Window Policy. The Single Window Policy was instituted a year ago to harmonize trade transactions at the ports. According to President Mahama, the implementation of the single window policy has increased revenue generation by 14.8%. The president said this achievement can be replicated in other sectors of the economy as well.
Revenue collection has improved and become more efficient, with a 14.8% increase in collections over the period. These are successes that we must encourage and replicate in other sectors of the economy.
On the introduction of the new terminal handling charges by some shipping lines, the president noted that there is no legal base for its implementation. He directed a halt, as earlier stated by the Minister of Transport.
There's been concern about the numerous fees and levies charged at our ports of entry, and that is why I take the complaints of the Association of Ghana Industries very seriously. I'm advised that there's no legal basis, absolutely no legal basis, for the terminal handling charges that are currently being leveled. And the Honorable Minister of Transport has written expressly to stop this charge. This must be implemented immediately.
Key business associations have been calling on government to reduce the cost of doing business at the port, which they said has been a hindrance to their businesses. The Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, had said the continuous implementation of the terminal handling charges will result in a loss of about $78 million from the port annually. Later in an interview, President of the AGI, James Asarieje, expressed his satisfaction about the directive to join business.
Once we have more charges being introduced, then it's a big challenge, for the country. You realize that it's going to cost this nation over $78 million in a year, which we know that is going to increase with time. Now, we can't allow shipping lines, or for that matter, any establishment which is foreign, to contravene directives by our ministers or institutions that are mandated to ensure private sector growth. That is why AGI thinks that is a very welcome development. We really appreciate His Excellency's intervention for really actually directing that with immediate effect. What do you call it? We call it, it's a very unfair, and illegal charges, and it must stop.
Time for politics now, and 17 candidates out of the 25 who picked nomination forms from the Electoral Commission to contest for the presidency have presented their completed forms to the Commission Friday. Friday marked the end of the second and final day for aspirants to present their forms to the EC for scrutiny. EC Chairperson Charlotte Osei said the Commission will release a list of aspirants whose forms have been accepted in a week's time. Joy News' Joseph Akable reports.
We've spent the past 2 days with you. We have officially come to the end of the nomination process for the presidential nominations for the 2016 elections.
The exercise saw the Commission receive the nomination form of 17 candidates out of the 25 candidates who picked the form to contest the polls. 9 candidates presented their completed forms on Thursday, while 8 presented a form on day 2. The day started on a note of controversy as the Commission accepted the filing fee of the Progressive People's Party, the party which had filed for an injunction to restrain the Commission from receiving a fee from political parties and candidates.
Well, you chose to bring it, knowing very well the legal consequences, so you chose to bring it, so.
We'll like to take it.
It's too late. We've received it already. It's too late. No, it's here.
Okay. PPP Chairman Ni Alote Brew Hammond said the party presented a sum to the EC in compliance with the law.
The Director of Communications, Mr. Japasu, had earlier within the last 48 hours indicated that all of the submission of nomination should be accompanied with a filing fee. So we were complying with that.
Richard Nixon Tete of the UDSP, Dr. Henry Lati of the GCPP, Ivo Kobna Greenstreet of the Convention People's Party, Dr. Edward Mahama of the People's National Convention, Independent candidate Jacob Osei Yeboah, Kwame Esiedu and Thomas Ward Brew presented their forms on Friday. Thomas Ward Brew was the last to present his form a minute before the 5 p.m. deadline. EC Chair Charlotte Osei at the end of the process said the Commission will release a list of the candidates whose forms have been accepted by the Commission in 1 week.
In the past 2 days, prior to the receipt of nominations, 16 political parties and 9 independent candidates, I believe, picked up nomination forms. In the past 2 days, 15 parties and 2 independent candidates have submitted their forms. Now, the submission of forms does not mean that their nominations have been accepted. The Commission has gone through the process of receiving the forms. We will now vet the forms to make sure that they are in compliance with the legal requirements under the Constitution and subsidiary legislation. For the candidates who have met the legal requirements, their nominations will be accepted, which would mean that they will be on the ballot paper for the December 7 presidential elections. As you know, the same exercise is happening at the constituencies all over the country, where we have been receiving the parliamentary nominations. We'll go through the same vetting, and the candidates who have met the legal requirements will be informed, and they would be on the ballot paper that, so their nominations will be formally accepted. I think we have 7 days to vet it and to come out with the final list of candidates.
The AC chairperson also said the commission accepted the money from the PPP because the party presented it to the commission.
Well, if you're in court and you come and offer, I thought they had waived their case. By presenting it, I thought they had cancelled their case in court. Maybe they had withdrawn it. That was my impression.
Now, there was near Fiscus Friday between the Municipal Chief Executive of Asin North, Dr. Kofi Blankson, and the Member of Parliament for Asin Central, Kennedy Ejapong, over who owns the right to inaugurate a market built for the area. The MC, who was also a parliamentary candidate, eventually stopped the MP from opening up the market for use at Asinfosu in the central region. The inauguration of the market built by the MP's Common Fund for the people in the municipality generated a heated debate over who has the right to open it. While the MC insists the facility was provided by the government and must lead in the inauguration, the MP argued it was built from the MP's Common Fund and he must lead the inauguration. Joy News correspondent Richard Kujunyako joins me with more on this. So, Richard, tell us how this issue was resolved eventually.
So, Kennedy Ejapong, the MP for Asin Central, used his common fund, part of his common fund, to build a market after he learned that the people who sell in the Asinfosu market, they were selling in deplorable conditions. And so he used his common fund to build a market. Now, after putting up the structure, he decided that he would commission it when the running mate to the MPP presidential candidate would be around. And so that sparked a lot of issues. And so the DC, together with the Assembly, said that, well, they are not going to allow that one because they are not going to allow him to do policies with the money that the Assembly is supposed to superintend. And so yesterday, they wanted to commission it, and the Assembly did not allow them. They brought in some security persons. And today, too, they decorated the place in order for them to cut the tape for the commissioning of the project. And the District Chief Executive, Dr. Kofi Blankson, says that no, this one is still within the remit of the Assembly. We are not going to allow that because the Common Fund is part of the Assembly process. And so you cannot bring Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and then he will come and assist you to cut the tape for you to claim the glory. So it's about the battle of who takes the glory. And so that was how things. So in the morning, Mr. Kennedy Ejapong was very angry. He said that he was going to commission the thing nonetheless. Anything that happens should happen. But I think that this one he pondered over the thing because the security people were there, and so he decided that he would give peace a chance, and then he allowed. So the market has not been commissioned.
All right, and Kojo, we know that Dr. Bawumia, as you indicated, was in the constituency today as part of his campaign. We know he's wrapping up his campaign of the region today. But generally, what has been the response of the people to the message he's been preaching?
Well, I tell you what, a lot of people have been following Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia from one constituency to the other. You remember that he started from the Kaswa area,
yes,
and so he went to a lot of the places. In some of the places that he went to, the chiefs and the people will wait up to midnight for him to come speak with them. And the responses, they clap for him, they tell them, there were also a lot of endorsement by some of the chiefs that they are advising their subjects to really campaign and then vote for the NPP, because after they voted for a particular regime, their schools are not doing any better. They do not have potable water to drink. Their schools are in bad shape. Their roads are more trouble. And so they decided to throw their weight behind. And it's been one endorsement from the other. Today, there have been several endorsements by some of the chiefs in the Ascent area. And the chiefs have also been saying the same sermon that the chiefs at the Ekunsu area said, that they are advising their subjects to vote for the New Patriotic Party because it's time for change. And others, you heard them clearly endorsing the NPP and telling their subjects to actually vote for. So he's about wrapping up. This is the last time, and so today ends the tour of the running mate, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia.
Nyako is our Central Regional Correspondent with that update. Now, just when the people of Kumasi in the Ashanti region thought they would finally elect a presiding member Friday, the election has been postponed to next Thursday. This is because there is currently no judge in Kumasi to swear the presiding member into office after the elections. All the judges are in Accra for a program ahead of the beginning of the new legal year. The Assembly has been without a Metropolitan Chief Executive and presiding member for several months, and efforts to elect a new one on several occasions had ended in a deadlock. Entertainment is up next. Don't go away. Ms. G joins me now with all that's happening on the entertainment front. Ms. G, it's the end of the week.
It is the end of the week.
And the beginning of the weekend.
Good. And we're going to wrap up nicely, you know, because this whole week we've been talking about showbiz and politics. A lot of musicians have been endorsing political parties.
Right.
But there's one musician who is highly respected here in Ghana who thinks that it's very, very unhealthy for any celebrity to endorse a political party, and that's Samini. Samini is putting together a peace song called Kokomoti.
Okay.
And he's been speaking to
Kokomoti means thumb.
The thumb. Come December 7, we are using our thumb to vote. So, and he's saying that he won't endorse any political party. Here are his reasons.
Personally, my take is I don't think it's too healthy to do that as a people's person, because you represent the masses and you have various political affiliations listening to your music at the same time without any political intentions. So you appeal to a broader audience at a go. So when you take sides in serious issues like this for the country's welfare, and just maybe you happen to offend a huge fan by that move, it goes a long way to affect your career going forward. And then also, when you take sides like that and you live in a neighborhood where you have other people with the opposition, during an election year when things get heated, just know that your house is a target as an entertainer. Know that everything you're doing, you're a target from anybody from the opposition. Endorsing this flag bearer and whatever dream that he's preaching, you're now helping him to lie to the people, and eventually if that promise doesn't come to pass, you are one of the people that helped him tell the people that he was going to build a castle in the air, and it never happened. So now you're going to look like a corrupt person. And nowadays I see people from, they used to hype certain parties from before, and now they're going to other parties and all that. And then now you look desperate as an entertainer. If you're going to endorse and get paid to go and hype someone's manifesto when you're not sure whether what the person is saying is the truth, then you're part of the lie when it becomes one.
Recently, we were talking to DKB, and he said that no celebrity will come out publicly to endorse a political party unless that celebrity is being paid for it.
Whether they're being paid or not, it's really not my concern here. My thing is, as an artist, as an entertainer, you should be careful with political issues, and if necessary, don't take sides when you're not taking up the political office.
Time for sports. Asari Bediako joins us in the studio. Asari, like I told Miss G, it's Friday and we always look forward to the weekend.
Yes, it's Friday. I'm a Friday born.
You are?
Yes, I'm a Friday born.
Oh, great.
But the story is that the king has returned home. Kwesi Nantachie.
He's a king.
FIFA council member.
He's a king. All hail the king.
Yes, and he arrived to a hero's welcome.
A hero's welcome.
Earlier today. And Arsene Wenger has been rewarded for staying at Arsenal for 20 good years.
Oh, wow. That's
20
loyalty.
years, staying at one place for 20 years.
Yeah.
And you know Francesco Totti, the captain of Roma?
Yes.
He's played for Roma since 1992.
Wow.
He spent 24 years at Roma.
Wow.
Yes, Francesco
That's
Totti.
dedication and loyalty.
Yes,
but give us the stories.
Okay, so there's only one place to begin from. President of the Ghana Football Association, Kwesi Nantachie, has arrived home after securing one of the 2 African slots on the FIFA Council. The Ghana FA boss finished second in a keenly contested race, which was won by the Vice President of CAF, Armani Kabele. Kwesi Nantachie arrived at the Kotoka International Airport on Friday afternoon, and the 47-year-old was grateful to Ghanaians for their support.
I am very happy to be back home after embarking on a journey to seek a slot on the FIFA Executive Council. By the grace of God, I secured one slot as one of the 2 newly elected representatives of Africa on the FIFA Executive Council. I would like to first of all thank the Almighty God for looking favorably on me and ensuring that I won the election. I also like to thank the government of Ghana and the people of Ghana, everybody, for the support that you all offered me. Ever remain indebted to Ghana and Ghanaians for the support that you have offered me on this particular occasion. I want to thank all my friends. I want to thank my family, both nuclear and extended. I want to thank everybody who played one role or the other in ensuring that I won this election. Please take note that this election is not only the election of Kwesi Nantachie to the FIFA Executive Council, but the election of a Ghanaian to represent Africa at the FIFA Executive Council. And as they say, charity begins at home. I always look at Ghana first, and then also project, articulate, and defend the interests of Africa at the worldwide soccer controlling body level. I want to assure all of you that I will do my very best to justify the confidence that CAF, the confidence that Ghanaians, the confidence that Africa and the world at large has reposed in me by electing me to this high office.